Winners Win podcast, your boy Lucio 2.0. And today I'm actually going to talk about all basically similar things that all successful stories have, right? Or different type of genres, I guess, or styles of it. Before we do that, I want you guys to do some housekeeping things. Like this video, share it, subscribe to the Winners Win channel. And if you listen to any type of podcast platform, leave a 5-star review and leave a review below so I can figure out how to better serve you. Right. So now we're going to talk about all successful stories are all the same, right? So one way that all successful stories are the same is they provide a shortcut, right? Some stories provide a shortcut. How can I get there in a shorter amount of time? Because people always want to know how they got from one place to the next quicker, right? They want to see how, because people are lazy. People don't want to get information for themselves, and they also want to know how they can get there as fast as possible, because success is about speed. I talked about this before. If you're a millionaire, right, or you made $1 million, total, it will be like, okay, cool, that's a lot. But if you looked at, I did $1 million total, but I made it in, I made it in like 10 years. That's $100,000 a year, which is still a good amount of money, but it's still like, or if it was 20 years, that's $50,000 a year. So it's really not, I'm being rich though, right? Second one is a miracle. People loved hearing stuff like how, I remember there was someone I had on here, a friend of mine named Elizabeth Sumban, who actually talked about her story, how she went from, basically being like a cult child and all that. Like, it was all this crazy behind stuff, yo. You really sound like a movie, and still ended up being now opening her own surrogacy agency and have a best-selling book, right? So it's all about, people love hearing miracles. Like, how did you make it? Like, what made you get from there to there? How was this even possible with everything that you had going on? So people love to hear miracles and stuff like that, and that's why the Bible's so popular. Jesus, he was crucified or killed or whatever, and he woke up 3 days later, but that's a whole nother story. But third one is money. People just, okay, cool, a story how I can make more money? Tell me you're not listening to that, especially nowadays where people put money above everything else. But one of my mentors too as well came into my job before. His name's Tel Davis. He came in and said, don't chase the money, man. Just chase the dream. And when you chase the dream, the money will follow always, right? So he actually came in and gave me advice. And it was like, I knew that was some advice, but then that just remotivated me to keep getting back on my grind. Because I also haven't posted to you guys in a couple of days because it's been so busy with work. But then I realized I have to work on myself harder than I work at work, regardless. Like, period. That's just what I have to do. So that's something that was good too as well. Now, the third thing that we talked about was social success. People love hearing about how that giddy, nervous young boy basically turns into like this social just like creature, right? So like he becomes real popular or something like that, right? So for example, I'm actually watching MHA or My Hero Academia, and you guys know I watch anime too. I watch everything, y'all know that, but watching My Hero Academia, I'm seeing how this little giddy dude who had no powers or nothing, he was always nervous, always crying, complaining. He just had the heart of just always trying to help people, but he had no friends. He's telling the story of how he became the world's greatest superhero. From not even being a good superhero all the way to the world's greatest superhero ever. That's just crazy, right? I really was confused, and he's able to then motivates so many different people, even villains, because that's the other world's greatest superhero do. So people love hearing about that social success, how they made it from one place to the other one. The next one is safety. People love to hear about how you can try to keep them safe, maybe, right? Or keep something safe, right? Let's say someone was protecting something. Everybody has something to protect deep down inside, right? And everything that they had to protect deep down inside, they love to hear about how other people have done it. Maybe it was a guy who fights off. There was a guy at one of somewhere else, right, that was actually fighting off people that were trying to rob his store. Fighting off people. That's crazy, right? To really think like, dang, you're trying to fight off people that are just trying to get your location, but he protected that stuff. People love to hear that. People love to hear about how people protect something that may be precious to them, maybe protect something that may be, good to them. It's about, people love to hear about different ways that you could provide safety for them in the story setting, right? So when we talk about shortcut, miracle, money, social success, and safety, these are 5 things at first. There's still a couple more that we got to go through, about 4 more to actually go through to talk about. Like I said, I want to do basically a short little recap, right? All successful stories are the same. They talk about one of these 9 things. It's shortcut, miracle, money, social success, safety, ego, fun, pleasure, and belonging. First one is shortcut. We talked about people want to know how they can get from point A to point B in the quickest amount of time. People want to know, too, a miracle. They want to know how someone who had no shot at all, like absolutely no chance at all, get from point A to point B. Money. People want to know how someone went from dead broke to being one of the richest people in the world. That's why people love stories about entrepreneurs, self-made entrepreneurs. 4, social success. People love hear about how people were just timid, little kids, shy or whatever, went from point A to point B and started being so social and actually getting people to love them. 5, safety. People love to hear about how people protected something that was precious to them. 8, ego. And I'm going to have to explain the rest if you watch my YouTube video, right? So, ego. People love to hear about how their ego can be stroked, or how their ego was stroked, how they actually were able to, become more powerful and stuff like that, or tell them even how their ego was good. Oh, you're so amazing. That people love to. Let me tell you something. This is why my coach used to always say that he hated training. He loved training women and children, but men were always the hardest, especially older men. Because men have an ego. They think they're so much better than what they are. They don't want to learn. They don't want to listen. They don't want to just actually sit there and take instruction. And I can't find myself doing that. Even it's like, if I respect you, I'm gonna try to find different ways to get, to actually, if I can literally want your instruction, I can find different ways to get it, right? So I will literally sit there and listen. But there's times where people say something to me and I'm just like, hold on 1 second. Like, who are you? That's what I'm saying though. So you want to actually do that, right? Fun. People really want to hear about stories that are actually fun. Like, no one wants to hear a boring behind story that's just have been told millions and millions of times. They want to see how it's like a funny story. That's why people love comedy so much, right? It's just someone having fun. Every single, having fun, making you laugh, comical. People want to actually be engaged in it in a funny type of manner sometimes. Like, they want it to actually be fun to do. Playing video games is fun. Playing sports is fun. All that stuff is fun. Next is pleasure. People actually want to get pleasure from the story too as well. That's why, and there's different levels to pleasure, right? But also too, there's, adult novels. People love reading them. Apparently, I've never read an adult novel before personally, but apparently people love reading them just to get some type of pleasure from it on that type of aspect. But also too, there's other things that, please people too as well. And the last one is belonging. A person who was not belonging into something actually finding their way to fit more into society or fit in, or something like that, and find where they fit in at, right? The story Divergent, that, right? The girl was in different things, she was in different things and stuff like that, and then, or a different faction, she just picked one, and then it so happens that she actually was another faction completely, or like she could be in all of the factions. So that's really all I have. 9 different things that successful stories mostly have. Comment below which one's your favorite. And I want you guys to then like this video, share, subscribe to the Winner Win channel. If you listen to this on any type of podcast platform, leave a 5-star review and leave a review below so I can figure out how I can better serve you. I want you guys to then remember, winners win, losers lose. Keep killing it, and you pray for success like this. 2.1.